I came to Oxford for the most program, and I fell in love with everything. I fell in love with the people, I fell in love with the campus. As soon as senior year kind of approached, I was like, I'm going to Ole Miss no matter what. I don't care how many scholarships I had to fill out, anything it took to come here at the University of Mississippi, I was going to be here.
It had always been my dream to kind of travel, see more of the world, learn about different things, and my heart was set on attending the University of Alabama. My mom was like, all right, that sounds great. But if we're gonna drive 16 hours, we're gonna make a few pit stops. And as I spoke to people, I could just see how much they loved Ole Miss.
My grandmother was the first African-American woman to graduate from the dental school in Jackson. And so I was just kind of like, you know, Granny, we're gonna be going to the same school essentially. But then also for me personally, every time I came here, it was just, as cliche as it may sound, there was just this feeling of comfort.
I toured a bunch of schools in Tennessee, didn't really connect with any of them. And my mom had remembered that Mr. Kent talked about Ole Miss a lot. We had never been, no one from my hometown had ever come to Ole Miss really. And honestly, I toured on like a really rainy fall day, was not in a very good mood, so I didn't love it. But my mom knew something that I didn't, and she like really pushed me to come back. Came back in the spring, absolutely fell in love with campus. It's kind of like the cliche that, you know, when you step on campus, you just kind of feel something.
Growing up, my family and I had always come to Oxford, Mississippi on the weekends, whether that was for football games, cheer clinics, or community events. It was almost like an innate response for me choosing Ole Miss. I mean, it was automatic, choosing Ole Miss and choosing this place to be my home for the next 4 years.
Ole Miss to me means home, community, happiness. And it's a place where I've found myself from the last 4 years. I know that I'm a completely different person and I wouldn't be the person I am today without my experiences that I've had here at the university.
It's not about the buildings and the beauty of campus, the physical aspects of it. If you come to Ole Miss, it's kind of hard not to see that. You know, you're accepted into this family. You're waving at people walking to class, and it's a small enough community to where you feel like you know everybody. And everybody knows you and everybody cares for you.
I think when we think about home, we associate so many different things, and I think that's a great way to describe the university, with being a place for students, a place for faculty, staff, but organizations, a place to be nurtured academically, socially, culturally even. And so when I think of the university, I always associate it to home. I found my people who have just poured into me continuously. And so even though it's not home per se, but it's my home away from home.
Faculty and staff and professors who are always there to answer your questions, to be there to support their students and truly be a resource for students who come here. And I've felt that community, and I think that that's something that is a common factor between myself and all the other students here, is that even though we may have different interests, different majors, and different futures ahead of us, I think that we've all found community here. And so that's something really unique about this place, something that I'm really happy to have been a part of.
I think what Ole Miss means to me are a lot of experiences of me interacting with people in the Grove and on the square and in Taylor and everywhere. I just think about talking to absolute strangers and just meeting the coolest people. I've traveled abroad to Amsterdam and Spain and Costa Rica, all 3 countries, you know, all the way across the world. I've gotten hottie toddies on the streets, and that was the best thing, because you start a conversation with a stranger. And it's really this like international school with amazing influence, but you have this just amazing homely community that is unlike anywhere else.
So I came in as a freshman through the Fast Track program, and so I had the pleasure of knowing Miss Jackie Sershin, and she has been so influential to me actually staying at the university. She always just told me, just try. There's nothing wrong with trying, and so a lot of that is just what I do in every day. And Lauren Wright-Jones in the CICCE, she just kind of took over that, what I lost in Miss Jackie. And so I thank Lauren for also continuing to mentor me and just encourage me along the way, and just always being the shoulder that I could depend on.
So I think everyone at my table has made my experience very just happy and warmth. And honestly, Haley Anderson and Edward Wiggins and all the student union staff have been so very supportful of what I've wanted to do here on campus, and they've equipped me with the best things and the best tools to get my mission done and to advocate for students as effective as possible. And without those people, I don't think I would be the person I am today or the leader that I've grown in the past 4 years.
Cheerleading was a large part of why I wanted to come to this university. I can genuinely say that each individual in that program has shaped me and molded me into the person that I am today, and has truly had an impact on me in ways that are indescribable. I mean, from our academic advisor, John Nance, to our bus driver, Reggie, to my coach, Troy Allen, who has taken a chance on me and gave me the opportunity to be a leader, and of course my teammates who have consistently supported me, loved me, and inspired me each day.
Mine was very kind of big. I would say definitely my fraternity members in specific, my close friends, Jonathan and Bennett, they always push me to go above and beyond everything that I do, and they've been kind of role models in themselves with me seeing them achieve so much. I want to work like just as hard, and it's always kind of like this fun competition that we do. It's like, oh, you got this, I'm gonna do this.
I've been really lucky to find people that have been right on these boundaries with me. So Dr. Fisherworth and Dr. Kafer in the English and Sociology department have actually worked with me on a project for the Barksdale Scholarship, where I'll be examining these food systems. And it's just amazing to look at the same problem with like an environmentalist poet's like perspective, as well as, you know, hard science and sociology. Along the way, I am the president of Hill Country Roots. I've just had amazing advisors and friends throughout the Honors College, especially Dr. Fisherworth and Dr. McKenzie for that. And as a STEM scholar, I feel like I've really been pushed to grow by DSG and Ashley and Williams.
My boss in the athletic department, Mike again, hired me to start working there whenever I was a sophomore in high school, at Oxford High School. You know, that was the experience that eventually led to me, you know, confirming that Ole Miss was the place for me to go to school. Obviously, Mike has helped guide me over the last 4 years and even further. But there's so many people that have been added into that, and it's friends and family and professors all across campus, people that I've met through my fraternity, people that I've met because I lived in Stockard Hall and everyone's door was open 24/7 and you could just walk in. Those are people that I'll be close with, you know, for the rest of my life.
I've been thinking a lot about how Oxford is referred to as the velvet ditch, a comfortable place that's hard to leave, and I think it's feeling more and more velvet every day, way too comfortable to leave. Although it's kind of bittersweet to be leaving this place, I think that, like I said, the future is bright, and it's a really exciting time, I know, for myself, just to see where all of the people that I've spent the last 4 years with are headed next.
Everybody says it's bittersweet. Right now, there's not much sweet about it. I'm just kind of, you know, this place, again, has like meant the world to me. Past 4 years have felt like they've gone by in like a snap, but also like I've been here for, you know, 30 years. And so it's gonna be tough moving on.
I feel like I am in a moment of just to where I can't, it's possibly like unconsolable. Like no one can comfort me because like this has been the 4 years that I didn't even know that I wanted, like if my expectations were exceeded. But yeah, it's a rush of emotions. I think I'm really excited to just kind of see where it is that I go next, because I know that someone from the University of Mississippi is going to be around in my area. So I'm definitely excited to see those kind of connections that happen after the math, so yeah.
It's definitely bittersweet. I feel like Ole Miss has really given me the opportunity to sort of become the person I always wanted to be. I was able to grow, I was able to learn, I was able to make a few mistakes, and I've become the person I'm fully capable of being, but I'm also ready to see who I can be next. I'm ready to see what's out there, explore the world a little bit more before I settle down, and I know that I'll always have a home to come back to.
So what's next for me is I'm going to the University of Arkansas in Little Rock to pursue a master's in public administration, and so hopefully I can spend my 2 years in Arkansas and then come back to Mississippi and work at the legislature in Jackson.
So next year I will be attending the University of Mississippi School of Dentistry as I pursue my doctorate in dental surgery.
So the thing that's kind of next for me, this upcoming year I'm going to be taking a gap year, kind of just to relax. After that, I'm coming back here to the University of Mississippi to get my master's in business administration.
So I will be attending graduate school at the University of Georgia for my Master of Public Administration with a concentration in Health Policy and Administration. And so I'm really excited to spend the next 2 years in graduate school and furthering my education in Public Policy and Administration.
Yeah, so that's a big question. Everybody hates to get it. Don't have a job yet, but I think I'm gonna go to DC and either try to work on Capitol Hill or to work in fundraising. I'm really interested in both. And eventually grad school, not right away, but I eventually want to go to grad school.
I'm looking at going to Harvard, Yale, or another Ivy League for medical school. I won't know until probably next year, but in that time I'll actually be living in Italy to conduct a research project on Italian food systems, and then in my time here I'll be examining Mississippi food systems, both from a sociological perspective and also interacting with rural Mississippians as an EMT here.
So the intent is to go to med school, but prior to that, I'm going to be taking a gap year next year. Just kind of figuring out, what can I do to be the best med school applicant I can be. So whether that's working or doing a post-bac program, I'm really open to anything.
I hope to go into film and we'll end up in the cinematography side of things. So a lot of pre-production in film. Continuing to work on documentaries and just hopefully tell truly inspiring and, heartfelt and meaningful stories. And trying to make a difference in doing that.
I'm going to go to law school, it's just a matter of where, and I'd really like to practice education law and just work to build a more equitable education system, whether that's in Mississippi, in the South, or in the United States as a whole.
So coming after graduations, I'm actually in the process of applying for master's programs in biomedical sciences. Having this background of a master's in biomedical sciences and then a bachelor's degree in public policy, I'm hoping to kind of turn over into a dual program to where I can go into medical school as well as get my master's in public health.
This is one that I've always had to think about because I get very different advice from everybody I ever talk to. I think it's really important to just be you and pursue what you want. Especially as a medical student, there's a lot of pressure to do all of these activities and stuff as resume boosters, but if it's disingenuous and you don't enjoy it, you won't grow the same way you can.
The best advice I could give would be present, especially in the small moments. I think the big moments are great and I wouldn't change them for the world, but I know that as I leave Ole Miss, it's those small, less memorable moments will be the ones that I cherish and kind of want back.
I think the biggest thing for me is to make friends with the staff here at the university and your faculty members, because those have become the biggest support system that I have here at the university. It takes a community to do all of this, and being a student leader is not easy, and those people have the ability to assist you in anything and everything and give you the resources to make your life a little bit easier.
I think it's important to, first and foremost, to be your own advocate and advocate for, what you need as a student, what you need as a person, whether it's in friendship relationships with a teacher, just don't be scared, because that first year can be super intimidating, trying to navigate, the transition from high school to college. And so I think it's important to know that, you have to believe enough in yourself to be able to say what it is you need and want in order to flourish as a college student.
I would say definitely don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. One of the great pieces of advice I've heard and I kind of live by, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. So always push yourself to try new experiences and meet new people, because at the end of the day, that's what college is all about. Just trying new things and just figuring out who you are as a person.
Ole Miss is an easy place to stay connected to, I think. I'm really excited to be an alumni. I think we have a great alumni association. It's kind of funny, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I have 8 nieces and nephews, and all of them say that they're coming to Ole Miss now. I was the first of my family to come, and now all of them want to come. That's cool that, Ole Miss is a place where you can visit once when you're 8 years old and you just kind of fall in love with it.
I'm already trying to plan the next time that I'm gonna come up here and come to a game or whatever it may be. So I know whether it's on my own account or, some relationship that I have or some connection that I have here, it's, with a person or an organization that I was a part of. I know that those relationships will definitely keep me, right here on this campus.
I love to stay connected to the Law Institute, stay connected to the Honors College, and support those institutions in any way that they need, and then obviously, joining the Alumni Association, and making sure that I am aware of the changes that are happening on this campus and seeing how the university grows going forward, because I know good things are in store for this place.
Frank E. Everett wrote the poem that everybody knows the line at the end. The university regretfully terminates tenure, but one never truly graduates from Ole Miss. And so I don't feel like I'm leaving Ole Miss. Ole Miss is coming with me.